mind, your body, and your soul. It's right there in the Word. The Word of God will set you free. It's right there in the Word. Eternalizing is the key. It's right there in the Word. It's right there in the Word. It's right there in the Word. It's right there in the Word.
Well, good afternoon, family, and welcome to today's installment of There's a Word for That, the weekly word presentation as part of the Hymns with Phil Carter Fellowship. I'm Pastor Cynthia Turner-Wood, and I'm really delighted that you joined us today. Today's word is overcome. Overcome. Let's go ahead and get to work. That word overcome comes from Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 11, which says this: Again, I saw that under the sun, the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor the bread to the wise, nor riches to the intelligent, nor favor to those with knowledge, but time and chance happen to them all. Time and chance happen to them all. Most people misquote that verse by saying the race is not given to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but to the one who endures to the end. But that's not what it says. It says time and chance happen to everybody. And there's something even more comfortable about that, or comforting about that, because what it's saying is that there will be unexpected events along the way. But don't let that deter you. Don't let it knock you out of the race, because those things are just a part of life. They happen. They happen to us all. Don't let them knock you out of the race. Things will happen along the way. The unimaginable will happen. The unthinkable will happen. But when they do, what this text is saying is just keep going, because time and chance are a part of life. You don't know what's up ahead, but understand that in order to reach the goal, focusing on it and not being thwarted by the unexpected events that are set in place along the way to stop us, that's what we have to do. Focus on the goal and stay determined to reach it. Now, let me say this. I saw Brother Phil Carter's broadcast on Monday when he mentioned goats. I have to admit, I thought he was talking about goats, like greatest of all time, goats like Serena, like LeBron, like Michael, either Jackson or Jordan, take your pick, like Prince. But he was actually talking about actual goats, because where he was while taking some time away with his family, there were actually goats on the premises, and he was about to go feed them. I had to laugh out loud when I saw that. I'm glad that he's taking time away. We ought to all do that whenever and as often as we can, especially considering these unsettling times, unsettling to say the least, these times in which we live. Here it is. Every day there's a new reason for us ramping up against the trauma that we feel. And on Saturday, we were served at least 10 more reasons to ramp up against that trauma. Say their names: 10 reasons. Roberta A. Drury of Buffalo, New York, age 32. Marcus D. Morrison of Buffalo, New York, age 52. Andre McNeil of Auburn, New York, age 53. Aaron Salter of Lockport, New York, age 55. Geraldine Talley of Buffalo, New York, age 62. Celestine Cheney of Buffalo, New York, age 65. Hayward Patterson of Buffalo, New York, age 67. Catherine Massey of Buffalo, age 72. Pearl Young of Buffalo, age 77. Ruth Whitfield of Buffalo, New York, age 86. And let's not forget the 3 people who suffered injuries that have been deemed non-threatening, non-life-threatening. 2 of them at least are no longer in the hospital. Zaire Goodman of Buffalo, age 20. Jennifer Warrington of Tonawanda, New York, age 50. And Christopher Braden of Lackawanna, New York, age 55. And the countless others who witnessed personally, or those of us who witnessed on television, those horrific, wicked, evil events of last Saturday. The whole thing was unbearable. and it still is. And even though I've never met any of them or knew them personally, that was my grandma. That was my grandma Pearl and my auntie Ruth and auntie Geraldine. That was my brother Margus and your uncle Andre and uncle Aaron. These people just going about their normal business, buying food to fill the pantry, to feed the community, to, getting some snacks that day, purchasing cake mix and icing to go home and bake a cake with her daughter, a retired police lieutenant, a substitute teacher who was a pillar of the community, a beloved grandmother of 6, a dedicated community activist, all of these people just going about their business, and in an instant their lives were no more because of the evil, wicked dealings of a wicked soul. Not sick in the head. I won't let him off on mental illness that easily. That's an affront to all of the people who suffer mental illnesses. No, this was someone who was wicked in their soul and wicked in their heart. Choosing to do evil, to kill people, these same people who would have just as soon fed him and clothed him and protected him and hugged him and loved him, because you know how we do. That's what we do. And so we remember them, remembering that this race is called life is not about how quick or swift you are. It's about knowing that things can happen along the way. Things will happen along the way that will surprise us and take us unaware sometimes. Time and chance, though, happen to us all. And we must find a way to keep going, to overcome, and to not give in to the evil that surrounds us. We always have. We've done it for centuries, and now we must do it again. But let me get back to those goats that we were talking about earlier. Phil is somewhere off feeding the goats this week, but I want to talk to you about another goat, a greatest of all time kind of goat. Perhaps you saw her last week. She's a runner. She's only 7 years old, but what a runner she is. She's the running example of what we must do to overcome time and chance when it happens in our lives. Here she was starting in the 200-meter race, but right out of the gate, right after the gun started that said, go, get in the race, go start this thing, her shoe came off. The unthinkable happened. This horrible thing happened, and all of the other runners took off running the race. She turned and said, can't we start again? They were like, no, you can't start again. So what she does is double back, gets her shoe, puts it back on her foot, and gets back in the race. Oh my goodness, the 7-year-old did not curl up, did not crawl, fall out and have a tantrum. No, she put her shoe on and got back in the race. And you know, most of us would have not even tried. We would have called it quits. We would have given up over the unexpected disappointment, but not her, Talia Crawford. No, not only did she not give up, she got back in the race. She gave it everything she had. And then the unthinkable happened. She overtook the other runners and went on to claim the victory, because time and chance happen to us all, but we can't stop because of that. And that's really all I came to say today. That's all I came to remind everybody. Nobody told 7-year-old Talia Crawford that once something like that happens, you might as well give up. Nobody told her that she could not win the race after losing her shoe and losing so much time to go put it back on. Nobody told her that since the other runners had such a head start due to her unfortunate mishap, that she needed to just sit this one out and maybe try the next time. No voices in her head to tell her that it wasn't even worth a try at this point. And because of that, since this happened last Saturday, the video of her winning, has been viewed over 9 million times after her daddy put it on Twitter. 9 million inspirations. Isn't that what we need after the other horrific events happened on Saturday? I call her a GOAT, a greatest of all time, not just because she won the race. That was good. That's just a cherry on top. That's the icing. I call her a GOAT because she did not give up, because anybody who is able to regroup after such a tremendous setback, I consider a GOAT. It doesn't take anything to quit. Doesn't take anything to give up and to let go, but it takes everything to still stay in the race, or rather to get back in the race after you've been knocked out. For whatever reason, you find yourself knocked out. As a people, we know what that's like. And as individuals, we all have likely had to make that decision at some point, after some heartache, after some injury, after some disruption or turn of events, whether to let go in frustration because the odds are against us, because things don't look good, or whether we should just stay in the race and continue on, get back in the race, keep on running the race and continue on. And I have to ask myself, where at 7 years old did she learn that she might still have a chance after losing her shoe? Where could she have picked up that even though she lost her shoe, lost precious seconds, lost her moment to evenly compete, had to go and double back to get it, none of that signaled to her that she might lose the race or might not be able to continue. Maybe it's partly in her genes. Maybe there's something in her. I think there's something in all of us who have come through hard times, who have ancestors who have come through difficulties. There's something in us. And maybe for her, we know that her father is the legendary boxer, Terrence Bud Crawford, who has never lost a fight, who has had 39 wins, 0 losses, and 29 knockouts. But he takes little credit for what his little girl did. He said that was all her. He said she left it all there on the track. He couldn't even believe his own eyes when he saw it happening. So maybe if it wasn't daddy, maybe it was mama's influence. Her mother, you could hear in the background on that track. You have to look it up. You have to Google Talia Crawford winning the race and you'll find it. Her mother the whole time is saying, "Go Lele, go Lele, go Lele, run Lele." All the way through, her mother is cheering her every step with loud, encouraging energy from the stands, because mamas are good for that. They say, don't give up, keep on going. ESPN perhaps might have nailed it when they said she's the girl with wheels. When they saw that video, they labeled her the girl with wheels. They equated her win to the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2016 when they eked out a surprise victory against the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 51. I don't know that much about sports, but I do know that this track meet that this little girl ran occurred on the same day of the devastating event in Buffalo, and that broke our hearts. This one girl running this race over here and this thing happening in Buffalo over there. I kind of think from a sanctified imagination standpoint that maybe while she was running, that the ancestors were peering over the balcony of heaven, and in that moment they watched her shoe come off and decided to grant her the grit to continue on. That great cloud of witnesses that's watching over all of us, that surrounds us and infuses us with what we need to keep staying in the race, or to get back in the race, or to win the race. That great crowd of witnesses that says, run on and see what the end is going to be. Maybe Harriet looked and said, oh no, I can't let her go out like that. And so Harriet maybe perhaps leaned over and tapped Flojo on the shoulder and said, look, Flojo, I've given her my stubborn determination. Now you give her your speed. And Flojo says, oh, sure, Harriet, we got to work this thing out together. And then she grabbed Wilma Rudolph, who knew what it was to compete after being paralyzed from polio as a girl, and after surviving scarlet fever and then surviving double pneumonia, and still to go on to become the first Black woman to win the Olympic gold, not once but 3 times, and to be labeled the fastest woman in the world. And maybe all 3 of them together, I just imagine with my sanctified imagination that all 3 of them got together and with all of that and more coursing through Talia Crawford's veins. They gave her what she needed to overcome the tremendous odds and showed us that the impossible can be accomplished and achieved so long as we focus on the goal. Remember, I told you last week what Tracy Blackman said. Reverend Tracy Blackman said, the impossible is just an opinion. Maybe all of that came together, converged in one synchronistic, one beautifully synchronistic moment, and said, listen, we're going to focus on the goal, focus on the goal, focus on the goal. And as long as she focuses on that goal, she can just go on and win this thing. And here's the thing. While one sick-minded man with a wicked heart was devising a plan to kill our grandmas and our aunties and our uncles and our brothers and our grandpas on one side of the country in Buffalo, New York, little Miss Talia Crawford was doing her thing in middle America, Omaha, Nebraska, against all odds, showing us what a good heart can do. Lord, creating us clean hands and a pure heart, hearts that are not lifted up to vanity nor our souls sworn deceitfully. She showed us how, even though time and chance happen to us all, we can overcome, we will overcome some incredible odds, tremendous opposition, uncertain events. We can overcome if we focus on the goal and stay in the race and keep on running. I'm praying for all of us, especially the parts of us who wear sun-kissed skin that others use to play target practice on. I'm praying for all of us, because what my friend and colleague Dr. Valerie Bridgman often says is so true. We are not safe. What Michael Jackson said, they don't really care about us, is true. They're both right. But also, it's why Lucille Clifton penned her poem, Come Celebrate With Me. Come on today, church. Come on today, my friends. Let's celebrate that every day, something has tried to kill us and fail. We can celebrate today because this is the day that the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in. We can celebrate today because we are still here. We can celebrate today because we have overcome some tremendous odds. We've overcome some things that others would have taken others out. We've overcome some things, some pain, some heartache, some distraught, some terror, some horrible things that our ancestors have overcome away with tears that have been watered. We've overcome so much. We are still here. We are standing. We can celebrate today that we have overcome, and yet we are still called to overcome some more and to keep overcoming and to help somebody else. There it is. Help somebody else overcome. Little Talia Crawford, help me. I don't know about you, but I hope you can Google that thing and look it up. Little Talia Crawford helped me to overcome my wanting to say, we can't do this. I can't get through this. I don't know how I'm going to make it. You put that shoe back on. After you have doubled back to go and get it, put it on your foot, tie it up tight, and get back in the race and keep on running. I came to let somebody know today that despite whatever odds you're facing, regardless how it appears, it does not have to be over. You still have a chance. You still can win, or at least compete. You have already overcome so much. Just keep running. Stay in the race and give it your best shot. I want to close with these words about overcoming from Revelation 12, chapter 12, verse 10 says, And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And they overcame him. They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved their lives. They loved not their lives unto death. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and you that dwell within them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down to you, having great wrath, because he knows that he has but a short time. You hear that? But a short time. Keep going, keep moving, keep progressing, keep going back if you have to. Put the shoe on and get back in the race. Well, before I go, I want to encourage you, if you're having trouble, this is Mental Health Awareness Month. If you're having trouble getting through and getting by, Join us for our grief share, which takes place every Tuesday night from 6:30 to 7:30. That's Grief Share. You can sign up at griefshare@dayspringthrive.org. Sign up to be a part of that. Get through what you're going through. We know it hurts, but we want to help. And so you can be a part of those grief share sessions that happen on Tuesday evenings at the Dayspring Community Church. They are all virtual, and you can participate and get through what you're going through. Well, my beloved, I'm glad you tuned in today, and I hope you are too. This is Pastor Cynthia Turner Wood. I'll see you next week for another installment of There's a Word for That. You can reach me at awordforthat@dayspringthrive.org. That's a word, the number 4, that, at dayspringthrive.org. I look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, we know that whatever the issue is, there is a word for that. For the grass withers and the flower fades, but the word of God lasts forever. May the Lord God bless you real good. Thank you for listening.